Hello everybody, welcome back to another reading. Today we're taking a look at the case of Cassie Sheetz, a 24-year-old mother who went hiking with two male friends at a Spruce Knob in West Virginia, and only the two men actually ended up coming back from that. Apparently they were hiking up there at least until midnight, even though it's a daytime trail. One of them went and waited in the car once they came back out of the forest without Cassie, and the other one went back into the forest supposedly to go look for her, but neither of them actually called 911 to report her missing. That was done by somebody who just happened upon them and found them waiting there and asked what the matter was, and they ended up calling the police or 911 to see if they can report her missing. So this happened on March the 11th of this year. And so far there's been no clue as to what happened to her. I believe at least one of the two men who were friends of hers, James and Grant, one of those two has been interrogated by the police. I haven't found any type of report on that to see what they said. It seems like they may have something to do with it, but really don't know anything right now. So I wanted to do a tarot reading to see if we can get anything more about that. We're going to start off with the Silver Witchcraft Tarot, this one. And for further questions, we're moving on to the Santa Muerte tarot deck, which is this one. So, as per usual, I'm just going to start shuffling the deck, and I'll tell you what the cards say to me. If you see something else, a different interpretation of the cards, make sure to put that in the comment section below. Anything I'm pretty sure will help. In any case, it's always good to stay positive, and without much further ado, I'm just going to start shuffling, and let's see what we get. Okay, so we start off with the King of Pentacles, the Six of Swords, and the Three of Wands here, and the Chariot. So pretty much I could name this entire row. It really looks to me like a story taking place, like with King of Pentacles. Somebody who's really resourceful as well might have had a great idea. Spinning tails as well, because we see that there is some cobweb coming off of that pentacle that he's holding in his hand, almost like he's weaving something. And also sowing some seeds next to the Six of Swords with three people in a boat. Now granted, one of them is a child, but it could very well just be representative of the two boys and the one girl that went out together, and it really looks like he convinced her that they should go on this hike, and maybe they brought the other person along to make it seem less risky. Maybe like sometimes you have, I'm getting the impression of somebody who may have been friend zoned, if you know what I mean. I'm not saying that this is the case here, but it's just the type of thing that I'm seeing here, like, oh, I'll bring this other friend along so it'll seem safer and not like I'm just trying to get her to myself, that type of thing. That's what's coming through. In any case, so somebody suggested that they should go to the trail, and then there's the Three of Wands here. Now, Three of Wands is normally like a traveling card, wanting to go places, set out onto new adventures, but over here we see that it's reversed, so they weren't going to go too far. So this leading the person in the boat with the Six of Swords was actually not with the correct intentions, or at least not their hidden intentions, because it's like they're being led by the person who is currently pushing the boat along, and then there is this person who is in control. They've got different ideas, like instead of going this way, we're going to go that way, that type of thing. They have some certain thoughts about that. We see next to that the Chariot and the Knight of Swords. Now, the interesting thing about this deck is that the Chariot kind of looks like the Lover's card, because you have a couple with a child right here. And the interesting part about that is that this might be them moving on, trying to move their relationship forward, perhaps. And I was actually expecting a Three of Swords in here somewhere, but maybe We'll see something about that later, or perhaps the other person was on board with it, because this really does seem like, oh, I'm just going to pretend that we're just here as friends, the three of us, but meanwhile I have other ideas. This is why this chariot is coming up like this. And we see them moving hastily to forward their plans with the Knight of Swords and the King of Swords as well. This could be the two of them. Like perhaps the King of Pentacles now is represented by the King of Swords. Like he's got this master plan. He's been thinking a lot about it. He's like right up in the sky here with his thoughts. So this is somebody who is normally fairly, I want to say cerebral, tends to think things over a lot. Might be quite intelligent, or at the very least, likes to ruminate on things. Flanked by his deputy, you'd almost say, the Knight of Swords over here, who is on board with it. And I feel like they were trying to push her in a certain direction, like, hey, let's do this. He's got a really good plan. He's a really nice guy, like trying to be the wingman, literally, because we do see somebody sitting on an eagle here. So the wingman for the King of Swords, trying to help make this thing a thing, make their relationship a thing. But we see the High Priestess in reverse, so it could be that either she was just like, I don't know, or they could have actually been that good at convincing her that they managed to sidestep her, I guess, internal warning system that may have been in place. Like maybe she was lulled in a false sense of security, and they managed to convince her that everything was fine. Then we do see an internal struggle, because next line over here has the Five of Wands. Oops, sorry, above the camera there. Five of Wands with Judgments. Now, the Five of Wands in reverse, so that really says to me like there's this internal struggle. You see here, these two cats are fighting as well, and since it's in reverse, I tend to read that as an internal thing. These three are having an issue. Somebody's having an issue. Maybe somebody's having some second thoughts, or they are, this is perhaps Cassie herself struggling internally with maybe there was something, even though the High Priestess over there is in reverse, there was maybe something that was kind of itching inside of her, a little voice saying, you know, I don't know if this is really what they're saying, but Judgment is right here, and this I feel is representing, I think, the moment that it became clear to her what they were really up to, because I'm putting this one down for a second. Let's take a closer look at this Judgment card. You can see here that there's a whole bunch of little spirits trying to reach for this bird that's flying away, and that to me suggests that she figured out what they were up to, and she tried to thwart their plans in that sense. Maybe she tried to run away, maybe she tried to hide, because they did say that at some point they had gotten like separated from each other at a certain point during the trail. That's at least the story that came out from the both of them. We don't know what happened to her naturally, but maybe she started running away at that point. Oops. And then we see the Knight of Wands and Four of Cups here. So the Knight of Wands is an impulsive sort of person. He tends to really like action, so perhaps afterwards, you can also see that he's going through the desert. So this looks to me like the search, and I'm kind of reminding myself of the fact that one of them waited in the car while the other went to look for her. I believe this is them looking for her, the one person who went back. I'm not sure if it was James or Grant, no idea. But you can see him on this camel in the middle of the desert, just trying to find the one thing, I guess, that he's looking for. And the desert is a pretty big place. It's very empty, at least it seems empty to most people. But he is somebody who can probably find his way. He actually has a lizard on his shoulder, maybe as a companion to guide him as well. It's a fire lizard. Don't know if you guys saw that when I first held it up. Let's take a look over here. So there's that lizard on his shoulder, maybe helping him guide his way through this desert and or forest. Like he knows the trail very well. It feels like he wouldn't be able to lose somebody easily. Like he really knows this trail like the back of his hand, that type of thing. Four Cups and Five of Cups next to each other. Four Cups in reverse. Four Cups is normally a bored or spoiled for choice type of thing, not really sure what to do next, really kind of bored with your options, but in this case it's in reverse, so it's kind of like there is no option, and we have the Five of Cups next to that. which is a sense of loss, and you can quite literally see her snuffing out candles. So it's kind of like this might be the moment where something very bad happened to her that she was unable to avoid, probably because he knows the area so well. I keep bumping into the camera stand, I'm sorry about that. So if you see some wobbling, that's me hitting it with the back of my arm. Anyway, so Temperance is in reverse and Ace of Wands. So this looks more like the moment she was found, because we see here the Temperance in reverse, which is an imbalance, with the Ace of Wands, which is a fiery new beginning. And I feel like this is where whatever it is that the one person that went back to look for her did his thing to Cassie. If that were the case, it really does seem to be steering in that direction. Now I'm gonna move on to the Santa Muerte deck. Now when I was shuffling the Santa Muerte deck, I kept getting the reversed Knight of Cups, but since we hadn't actually started yet, I couldn't put it on the table just yet. But it did give me this sensation of Knight of Cups in this case, somebody who really wanted to get something and couldn't, and was really affected in his feelings, so like a rejection type of thing. So that definitely ties in with this story so far. Let's see what else we can get from the Santa Muerte deck. What else do we need to know? Like, where's Cassie now? Are we gonna find her anytime soon? Because it's been a while. It's been since March 11th, and I don't think that that area is so big that they couldn't find her by now. Whoop, there we go. That's a whole lot of cards. I don't know if I need all of them. These two I'm keeping on the outside. This is a whole stack, so I'm gonna shuffle these guys after I put everybody else back. Let's see. You. Okay, from that stack we got at least the Fool in reverse, which always tells me they knew exactly what they were doing. So this seems to me as premeditation. At least the plan was already there. We kind of already saw that over here with the Six of Swords and the King of Pentacles next to each other, and the Three of Wands in reverse, like they were really planning something. This wasn't a spur of the moment thing. Then we have the Ace of Cups in reverse. So this is the heartache. I feel like this is perhaps the reference also to the Knight of Cups, like I was saying earlier, the one that kept popping out of the deck as I was shuffling it. So definitely disappointment there. The beginning that they thought they were going to have in love did not materialize. And then we have here the Six of Pentacles right here, which is a charity card. My dog is eating something in the background. I'm sorry to hear that. So a charity card, and I feel like they were hoping for some type of charity, maybe that they could potentially also force her into accepting their advances, because the next card that I've got here is the World. Like maybe they were trying to guilt trip her a little bit, like, oh hey, you know, you got these kids or something. I'm just like saying whatever is coming off the top of my head, but oh, wouldn't it be great if those kids have a father or something like that? It's high time that they did. That's why we're seeing a clock here perhaps. You're not getting any younger may also have been the message there, because the clock, obviously, it's something that is often held against women, unfortunately, in this society. Like, oh, you're not getting any younger. Maybe it's time to settle down. But she's 24, so don't know about that. But in any case, so the World may have been held up to her by them. Like, hey, maybe you want to do the right thing. I don't know about her past, but they may very well have been talking about her past and how that's like some type of reason why she should choose him. Alright, next card we have here is the Chariot is back, but this time the Chariot is in reverse. So these are ill-fated actions. And we have the Two of Wands. So there is like a kidnapping thing here. Not only is the Two of Wands about travel, you can also see that this guy is like a bandit type of thing with his revolvers out. So it's more like, if you don't do as I say, I'm just gonna do what I want, basically, and we're gonna go wherever I want you to go. So she may not even be there anymore. She may have been taken someplace. But where? Can we get anything about that? Where she may have been gone, or if she's been taken at all? Maybe we'll get another card about that. Knight of Swords in reverse, so this is bad thoughts, perhaps also negative self-talk, but I think this is more a plan that only he was in agreement with their plan to do things to Cassie, things that she would not have agreed with, I believe. Swallowing a sword as well, so it's also somebody who's quite risk-taking in that sense, so I believe he's doing things that most people would not. Oh. So he's a risk taker, he wants his way or the highway, and then we get the Seven of Wands in reverse, which is things that you've carefully planned, the most carefully laid plans of mice and men, unfortunately not coming to fruition, and maybe also getting stuck on that, because normally it's like a fruit-bearing plant, but now it looks more like a really big mess of brambles that you can get stuck in and get really scratched up in as well. There is some type of reward in there. You can see, I think, one pentacle in the back, but it's definitely not worth the effort in reverse, so perhaps even the plans that he made backfired on him and not just on her. What else can we see about this case? And the Ten of Pentacles in reverse, so this is the future that they wanted and could not have. So that's also something that fell in the water. Going back to the soup, one more card from this one. Four of Swords sealed the deal. As you can see, he actually went ahead and ended or concluded whatever it is that he was planning. Normally the Four of Swords is taking a new perspective and some rest, taking a step back, but this looks more like the conclusion to this adventure. I was going to go back to the Silver Witchcraft Tarot, but as I grabbed the deck, that one came flying out, so I wanted to show you that one as well. I want to draw a few more cards to see about whether she's going to be found anytime soon, if we're going to get any clues. How's the investigation going? That type of thing. Let's see if we can get anything about that. The Eight of Pentacles. Okay, so you can see there's a lot of lighting up happening. Eight of Pentacles is working diligently on something, so there is at least somebody working hard to solve this case. And even though they're working by night and perhaps also working alone, because you can see them sitting there by themselves focusing entirely on this craft, they are currently creating the lanterns. This could just be somebody trying to get lots of information, trying to cast a few lines out there to see who will bite, that type of thing. So somebody is definitely keeping an eye on this case very diligently. Doesn't look like there's a huge force on this. I don't think many people have heard of Cassie Sheetz. It's definitely not getting as much attention as, say, Gabriel Petito, but then that really did hit everybody by storm. Let's see if we can find anything else. Again, Ace of Cups in reverse, so this might be the heartbreak that is being felt. I'm reminded of her children. She had two children, I believe, two daughters. She may have had more, I don't know, but I know that I saw a photo of her with at least two children, so she should have two daughters at the very least, and this might be reference to her being really missed, but doesn't really say much about the investigation. I do have here the Nine of Swords, which is a lot of worry, so perhaps maybe she's actually out there somewhere still. Don't know, but this almost seems like somebody who's trapped inside of a place. Like they have the threat behind them, they have the bed that they have to sleep on, there's a dagger there, like a warning almost. She can see a barren landscape outside, so maybe she is one way or another calling for people to pay some attention to this whole case and see if they can help find her. Okay, so for the question of whether we will find her or not, I got the Nine of Cups as the last card for this reading. Nine of Cups is somebody who is very emotionally well balanced, okay off by themselves as well. It might just mean that eventually we're going to get some rest. We're going to put this to rest because we see here this worry and the Ace of Cups in reverse spilling lots of emotions as well, and eventually we're going to see that come to an end. So that does seem to me like they will find her at some point to at least give people some peace of mind. And she is sitting in the middle of like a very barren looking forest with some rocks in the background. It's nighttime, so maybe we will see some area like this be her final resting place. That's kind of what it's saying to me. Anyway, so that's what I'm seeing for this case. If you see something else, make sure to put that in the comment section below. In any case, make sure to also give this video a like, because that really helps the channel get noticed. In any case, thanks for watching. I will see you in another reading, and bye bye for now.